Good afternoon. My name is Ernest Nkomocha and I am a researcher with Intellidex. Welcome to the third webinar in our series where we bring you key lessons from successful entrepreneurs on how to build high-growth businesses in South Africa. We started this webinar series on the 2nd of September, and I hope that you agree that it has been an enlightening series so far. This webinar is part of the launch of a report produced by Intellidex, which was also funded by E-Squared Investments. The report is available on our website, as well as the recordings of past webinars.
Move around to travel, and the first thing I did was to insure it. And I spent about 45 minutes on the phone with an agent that was really struggling to understand my name and my surname, as well as my accent. So it was really, really painful. And realized after the 40 minutes that the price was not suitable for me. This was not the quote I was looking for. So I had to do it again with another provider and again. So I felt like, no, this is not how you should engage with customers. You should be able to educate them, guide them, as well as speaking their own language instead of forcing them to use a language that is not necessarily their preferred choice. So all those kind of customer pain points. That's how we came in, and now our core offering is really about creating conversational AI solutions for the financial industry to help customers interact better, understanding better what is a financial product, being educated, and at the end of the day, being able to purchase if they want instantly without friction. That's really what we're doing. So we work with the big banks, we work with all the big insurers, quite a few retailers and telcos, and really helping them, guiding those experiences better than what they've done in the past. And we don't try to kill the call center business. This is not our purpose. We're really trying to combine forces. So the first interaction as a customer, you may not need to speak to someone. If you'd like, you can still. But if you want to have an instant response plugged on WhatsApp that you can engage 24/7 without constraints, that's where we step in.
Yeah. So just a bit on that note around, competition, and that you're not trying to supplant customer call centers themselves, but you're more trying to collaborate and work with them. So you mentioned that you pursued a business venture around age 16 and it failed because you were somewhat scared because of the competition. So can you just draw us into that it is in a sense a densely populated market, and how have you dealt with competition in all its senses, whether it's from other companies that offer the similar service that you do or from actual human call centers themselves?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, this business venture was not even a business venture. It was just an idea I had, found small market opportunities. I was one of the very few private individuals that imported iPhone covers, like the silicone covers from Asia to Europe and selling them for a couple more euros. And it was quite a success, but I didn't know at all what to do in terms of admin, in terms of legal, creating a proper company, VAT registration, all those things. I was completely clueless. So I was like, whoa, let me go to a business school to understand how those things work, and then come back a bit later, which I did. But yeah, the competition, a lot of startups are fearing competition, but I feel for me it's one of the biggest drivers of being innovative. If you don't have competition, you stay on your own little pedestal and not necessarily doing what it takes to build a big business. You have to be innovative, creative. You have to face the competition, but not drive your roadmap product with the competition. You have to drive your innovation with your clients. They are the one that purchase your technology or your product. It doesn't come back to the competition. Your competition is not buying into your solution. So if you try to copy the competition, you may not make it work for different reasons. Maybe the market you're in is different, has different audience, has different type of client. The biggest fail in startup is actually product market fit. If you don't have a product market fit, you won't sell, you won't scale, you won't grow. So this is the biggest failure in startups is people developing solutions that don't find any client. So that's where there is an interesting balance to have. I privately say pretty much fake it until you make it, but I'm not publicly say that even though I just did it. But it's really, understanding what are your needs, what are your clients' needs, your prospect needs. What do they want to buy? If you are already convincing someone to purchase your solution before even developing the full product, then you win. You already have a subscriber, you already have a client, and you already a post-revenue startup, which is quite challenging. It's a challenging step, but it's an amazing step in the life of a startup, generating revenue. So you have people believing in your solution and buying into it. So yeah, hope I answered your question.
You definitely did. Just a question on, I understand the bit around, the product itself. I just want to move towards a different level, which is the level of, the team that you work with at FinChatBot.
Yeah.
They've had immense contributions. And I'd just like you to just add a bit around that what has been the importance of your team in particular? And what is the culture with your team like? And how important has that been in taking the business to the heights that it's reached?
Yeah, I mean the team is the engine room. It's everything. I'm just the nice guy that is taking a lot of credit, but the reality is they are the one sweating and doing a lot of the work. So it's an essential part of it. It's the most important thing. It's surrounding yourself as a founder with the right people, and recruiting, finding talent, making, convincing them to believe in your vision is a tough job. But when you start succeeding and seeing those talents joining, leaving much bigger business than you are to join you because they believe in the project, they believe in the idea, it's the most rewarding things. And seeing a team working together with potentially different backgrounds, coming from Europe myself, with local engineer, very proud of this engine room and the whole team coming from different backgrounds. It's amazing to see that when you remove, all the media that you hear around the color of the skin, around the religion, around what's like all the differences you can hear, read. But when you put all the people that comes from all those different backgrounds together in a room, and they all believe in the same thing, in the same drive, it's amazing. It's really fantastic. So that's a secret. I'm not sure I have the perfect recipe. It's a really learning process for me every single day. But I strongly believe if you can align your team, and it's also very valid personally, if you surround yourself with people that are driving you up, that are fueling your passion, that are challenging you and not agreeing with everything you say, that's where you getting better. That's where you learn. That's where you grow. So yeah, sharing the values, sharing the vision. At the end of the day, if we all share the vision coming from different backgrounds, we're all going to push toward achieving that, and that's really amazing.
Yeah.
So kudos to all of them. I'm sure some of them have joined the session. Big up from my side.
Yeah. And we say welcome to them once again. So just to touch on another thing that came up earlier on, Antoine, which is the fact that you actually did study entrepreneurship at a university level. So my question is, how did this prepare you? I can imagine a counterfactual scenario in which you didn't. Do you think that things would have turned out differently or did what you attain at the level of your studies funnel you into the right direction? If you get the question I'm asking.
Yeah. So what I actually think of that once in a while, thinking that if my next life would be to go into education, I would rewrite this curriculum from scratch, man. It's it's so theoretical, but it's so far from the reality of the market, from the reality of pitching clients. The every single aspect is theoretical. I think what it brought to me is an open-mindedness. So it helped me to be really open-minded and being able to listen to different opportunities that came to me over the past couple of years. So that give like 100% credit into the school, the different activities, initiatives that the university or the school has given to me, had impacted quite a bit my mind, prepared me from a mindset point of view. However, maybe I was not necessarily the best student in those years, and I didn't listen too much of my teachers. But no, like those critical aspects. Maybe it's a bit more advanced, but like managing a board. How do you manage a board? The people in the board have 100 years experience, right? Much more than
Yeah,
you are. How do you manage that? How do you manage their feedback? How do you take those information, those shared experience, and use them at its best potential? But you can't say yes to everything, otherwise you're not the one leading the business, but they are. So it's like those kind of little things that I think I would have liked to learn before, but otherwise, yeah, the whole journey is absolutely amazing. It's tough, it's difficult, it's a proper roller coaster ride. You have two bad news, one excellent news, and you just have to push heads down, hit the wall, and then think later. That's often what I say.
yeah. Interesting story, Antoine. At this moment, I would like to invite some of the people in the audience section to just submit their questions as we talk with Antoine, the founder of FinChatBot. I will just be monitoring the Q&A section for any of those questions as they flood in. So Antoine, you also mentioned that being French, you did face a bit of a difficulty in the starting stages of your
Yes.
business and penetrating, this market. Can you just talk us through that? How did you overcome, not just the language difficulties, but also the cultural ones that you did encounter?
Yeah, I mean, for the little story, when I arrived 7 years ago, with the idea of selling a technology solution to different marketing agencies as well as advertisers interested in our technology platform, I was not able to speak a word of English or very, very little. So the way I overcame that was to learn by heart my sales speech, like you learn a song or like you learn, I don't know, like a movie line, and really pray before my meetings to not have one single objection, which
Yeah,
never happened, obviously. You always have objection. But that
yeah,
was, the best, again, the best way to test yourself is to jump in, to really get entrenched and get into the groove, making sure you test, you fail, you correct, you get better, and over time, yeah, you make it you make it work. There's so many criteria that you need to align, that some are outside of your control, the timing, the people you meet, the people that support you. It's a lot of different parameters that you can't necessarily control. But I always think that you have to keep it positive. You have to keep pushing and being positive. And when you give positiveness to people, often you get the right people coming back to you. And that's something I've learned over the years, is that I'm always trying to give my best to anything I do. And when I present with, even if I'm like 15 meetings in a day and it's my last 16 meetings of the day, I'm still gonna give the last little bit of energy to give the passion that I have, because if you're not passionate, then change. I'm not thinking this is a work. This is for me an adventure with a lot of interesting people to meet, to collaborate, to grow, and then yeah, be proud of any single pieces of work I can put forward.
Fascinating stuff, Antoine. I see questions are flooding in the Q&A function. I'm just going to read the first one now. Any lessons about the challenges of developing a business in SA as compared to other geographies? So,
okay, I mean, I unfortunately or fortunately do not have other experiences being like a proper entrepreneur elsewhere. My very first official business, and not the unofficial one when I was 16, was in South Africa. What I know is back in my country, France, the government, the state is giving a lot of help to support entrepreneurs, financially, tax, easiness of the access to administration, and so on. So you have a bit of help. However, the market is much more competitive. Pretty much, you have an idea when you wake up in the morning, you Google it, you have already 10 competitors. So it's one of the challenge of a more, let's say, a European market. And that's where I see the massive opportunity in Africa and in South Africa. We are in a continent that in the next 20, 30 years is going to be the youth of the globe. I think the average age of Africa in 2050 will be below 30 years old. So the youth of the globe is sitting in Africa. So the opportunities are flowing. You just need to, navigate the challenges and not thinking that a challenge is a blocking point or is going to stop you. You have to overcome every single day multiple challenges, and the grass is not necessarily greener elsewhere. Here we have lovely challenges like ESCOM and electricity. Cool. We just purchased how do you say an electric whatever you call that. Sorry, I forgot. But a generator. Thank you.
okay.
So we purchased a generator, and now we have electricity all the time. So all the markets have different challenges, and in France, competition is one of the big things, as well as the cost of living, cost of hiring, and so on. So yeah.
Yeah, just on the next question, Antoine, some of the respondents we interviewed when we were compiling the research for the report, they stressed the importance of, ultimately the founder being in line with, the business stream. I'll make an example. So if a person is engaged in a business that offers AI solutions, then they themselves must be somewhat of an expert in that field. And the next question we have is, did you have a background in coding or artificial intelligence? Or were these things you acquired along the way, or did you outsource the skills of other people for you to develop the machinery and the capabilities that you needed?
Yeah, it's an excellent question. I'm a professional at copying and pasting, and Googling something, copying a piece of information, pasting it to use it differently. That's where I'm really good. So I don't know a single line of code. However, I can Google a piece of code that can solve my problem, pasting it in another environment and make it work. So yeah, I think as a CEO, what I'm trying to do is surrounding myself by much smarter people than I am, if you know what I mean. Or let's say experts that can really make their field exceed, like doing amazing job in specific field. So combine those talents together. That's my role. I'm not here to code. I'm not here to develop AI. I'm here to, put this team together, as well as drive the vision and making sure we are in line with the product market fit so that we can sell our product very quickly, very well at a scalable matter. So yeah, I'm very interested by that, reading a lot about it, understanding the concept, being tech savvy, but I don't know a single line of code. And I'm very proud that we have not outsourced one single line of code. It has been developed by Southern African engineers. Locally, we don't do work in other regions of the world. So it's really a local team building capabilities, AI, solution for big organizations that we work with. And now we're getting quite a bit of interest in Europe, which makes me even more proud because it's an African AI business now going to Europe and selling their solution to Europe. And that makes me really, really happy and proud.
Yeah. So the next question, Antoine. Another insight we also got in the report was the challenge of often acquiring or getting funding. So the next question is, how many meetings did you have before you got a meaningful investment? How did you build, investor confidence and buy-in into your IP?
Yeah, it's an excellent question. We went through 4 rounds of funding since inception. 1 with an angel and 3 with more institutional investors that we call the VC, venture capitalists. So the very first round, we were actually not looking for money. And that's often what happens is when you don't need money, that's when investors are coming to you. But when we need money, that's a bit more hard, right? So back in the days, I was actually trying to sell the marketing. I was trying to sell the whole vision to a very well-connected UK person based in South Africa, running a big call center business. And I pitched him the whole vision. I said, we work with a marketing arm that is generating traffic, but not able to convert instantly. We're missing an intermediary that can filter and convert and service customer best to then use the call center if, complex queries, more personalized queries, and so on. And I explained to him all that, and he said, okay, cool, I'm in, I want to invest. So he invested a small ticket, but we were really interested by his network. So we looked for, we were convinced by what we call smart money. So a cash injection because he needs to put, a bit of capital to prove that he's going to deliver what he says. And then we looked at his network, and we offered him what we call a sweat equity deal, that if he was delivering what he promised, he would get additional equity in the business. And it worked beautifully because we started the business in November 2016, raised a round of funding with him in December, and in February, we signed Hollard, MyWay, and Celsi as our first clients because of his network. So there was an amazing alignment of objectives and deliverables that helped us to combine a fantastic business card after 4 months of running the business. So 4 months into the business, we had 3 big logos on our business card to start saying to competitors, hey guys, your competitors are doing work with us, you are not, you should.
Yeah. I just want to backtrack a bit to an earlier point in our conversation where you spoke about ultimately what we do need is a fundamental educational overhaul or a change in how we're approaching, education itself. I think.
Am I losing you?
Or
are you losing us?
Can you hear me, Antoine? Antoine, can you hear me now? Hello? Yeah, let me go off screen.
Hello, hello.
Oh, yes.
Sorry, I was just finishing on the investment side while you were reconnecting. Just to conclude on that part, it's really it's like sales. You need 100 leads to get 10 meetings to convert once. So if you have 100 no's in your pitch and investment, the 101 might be the right one. So a no in the VC space is not your business, is not worth anything. It's really a volume business for startups, and it's an investor's market. So you have to reach out to a lot to convince a few, but it's the reality. Call you back, but your mic is off.
Sorry about that, Antoine. So with regards to education,
Much time off, but again, entrepreneur is for me assimilated to a passion. So I'm passionate about what I'm doing, what I'm creating, what we are doing with the team and growing. It's every single minute is an opportunity for me to learn, to grow, and I'm so grateful for that and being able to continue the adventure. So obviously, being in a nation like France that is putting a lot of effort into promoting entrepreneurs helps also. So I had a family background, I had a schooling system that taught me that it was possible to start a business, that you could start small, grow. And then I had a more university very focused on how to start a business, how to launch yourself in this kind of adventure. So yeah, for me, entrepreneur is a tough world, tough market, but it's a fantastic adventure that is definitely going to learn about yourself as well as others. Now in South Africa, I would tend to think if mathematical education could be pushed even more, because we need more engineers, we need more African engineers that understand the African context. We can't let San Francisco algorithm rule the African continent. It has to be solved by locals in order to satisfy local needs. So yeah, mathematical education is for me. If one thing that the government should invest more is for me. More engineers. We need more engineers. The world it's an engineers market now. They can choose their salary and join the team. So yeah.
Antoine, I think we've reached the end of our time today. I want to thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us and to honor our invitation. I've learned so much, and I'm sure our audience agrees as well. At this point, I'd like to invite everyone to next week's webinar, which is the 4th webinar in the series. We're going to be chatting to Thomas Pays from Ozo. Those who haven't seen the report as of yet, I do invite you to visit our website at www.intellidex.co.za for you to access the report. Thank you very much, Antoine. I wish you well in your business and in all of your ventures.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks everyone for listening and staying.
Okay. Thanks, Antoine. Bye. Bye, everyone.